all the firsts I've done in polar regions in my life are all the last, because all these routes are no longer possible because they just simply don't exist. On the Arctic Ocean, I did unsupported to the pole in '86 and then traversed it in '95. '86 that we were still in the cold season, a cold cycle. '95 when we crossed it, it was just remarkably changed just in 9 years. We did manage to cross it, but shortly after that, it's no longer possible even to get from land to the pole anymore by on foot. So I've seen all that, and all the ice shelves I've been on, the Larsen A, B, and C, which have disintegrated. We traveled 1 month on these ice shelves, and they don't exist anymore.
The reality is, when that person's done speaking, can you articulate what they said, not by repeating words, but actually capturing intent? If you can't, that means you are not actively listening. You are thinking about your point, and then your point counterpoint, and what we're not doing is being productive, and we're not being collaborative, and we're definitely not a team.
Engagement is an output of belonging. Okay, so if we think about belonging, if you're in work, whether you're physically in work or virtually in work, if you feel that you can be yourself, that you're valued for that, and that you're contributing to the success of the organization, and you're valued for that, and you feel part of the whole, that's essentially what belonging is. And the output of that is more productivity, you stay longer, and higher levels of engagement.
Why don't you try to keep up with all the latest things and create a library of what this thing is so we can talk about it? Give some real life examples that you see out in the other industries or other companies that are doing it. And then the ones that we might find interesting, how about we do some experimentation?
I'm a little bit afraid that OpenAI, with all of their initiatives of general intelligence, will turn people into commodities. Providing data is what we do first, and then later on we are replaced by the machine doing what we do, and then we lose authority and we lose participation. And of course, the worst part is, because of all the tech, we lose trust. So we stop trusting each other, we stop trusting media, and then the whole world is like a crime zone,
Really, where culture makes a difference is when you assess the risks and the change that a transformation is going to impart on the organization, and you're proactive about managing it. So that's how your culture grows. Because I think transformation is actually where your culture and trust can be built the most. It's not in the fun things that you're doing. It's in the hard things. I climbed a mountain with 10 other people that were complete strangers to me. And in about 48 hours, I had more trust in them and they had more trust in me than I've had with people I've worked for 10 years with.
It's my encouragement to people who are doing a job, if they think this job can be replaced by a computer in the past or by AI as we go forward in the future, you have to take it upon yourself to retool yourself.
Sure.
Because the world is not staying still so that you can be employed at a job that you have now for 40 years.
But it's like those little things that people do for us, but then when we can turn that around and stop focusing on ourselves, like, it's like, and when we can turn that around and write somebody a letter saying, hey man, I appreciate you, inspire me. And when you do stuff like that, then it fuels us. So it's just one drop of water. Norman was literally a 20-minute interaction in my 57 and a half years of life right now. But it's huge impact.
To date, there is no platform or program that gives you real-time data on how your humans are doing at any given point in time. And we saw the impact through the Great Resignation. $1 trillion was lost, but there's no hard, this is the problem, this is the problem. We're talking about human behavior.
Go back to some of those key principles of thriving. So love and belonging, that's something that we all need in our lives. It's core. It's even more important probably than what our metrics were that week at our office. And I think one of the things we can do in our office design is display some of those values. And they're a little different for everyone.
You're interested in us talking to our leadership and selling ideas. You're not interested in being the one in this limelight. And I think that was also a key contributor to both my enjoyment as well as my longevity at Trissential, because it was the way we wanted to operate, right? We didn't want to be the saviors going in. We wanted to help them.
Thanks for listening to the 1% Better podcast. We hope you found inspiration for your improvement journey. You can access podcast transcripts and links to reference material at trissential.com/podcast. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please do us a big favor. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share our podcast with colleagues, friends, and family. Until the next episode, here's to getting 1% better.